Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Ruby Programming. So in this episode, I want to talk about something called operators. Right? There are various types of operators in Ruby, but in this episode, I want to talk about only three of them: arithmetic operators, logical operators, and assignment operators. Okay. So before that, okay. So to start off, we'll again do the same thing. So after we're done with arithmetic operators and logical operators and assignment operators, then I promise in the next episode we'll create an actual Ruby program. So before doing that, it's very important for you guys to understand what these operators are. Okay, so let's start off with arithmetic operators. Okay, so arithmetic operators are something that you all guys already know. Okay, they are I think four or five operators, right? So let's start off with addition operator. So as the name suggests, that's what addition operators do, right? 5 plus 6, 11. Okay, or 11 plus 10, 21. So you get it. Okay, then the subtraction operator. Minus 4, 1. 4 minus 5 minus 1. Okay, then multiplication operator. 5 into 8, 40. 8 into 5, 40. Okay, then division operators is 6 by 3, 2, 3 by 6, 0, 5 by 1, 5. Okay, so here's something interesting that I don't know if you guys have observed or not, right? So when I divided 6 by 3, I got 2, but when I divided 3 by 6, I got 0, right? Similarly, when I divided 5 by 1, I got 5, and then when I divided 5 by 2, I got 2, right? So these statements are called operations. Okay, so these operations consist of two parts. So one is operands. Okay, these are the numbers that you're using in the operation, right? So normally there are two operands. Okay, also in case of unary operator, you can use one operand and one operator. Okay, and these symbols in the middle are called operators, right? So that's why these are called operators, and these are arithmetic operators, obviously. So here what's happening is when I'm dividing 5 by 2, I'm getting 2, right? Which is correct, but it's not exactly accurate, right? The actual result would be 2.5. Is it? Yeah, 2.5. So why am I getting 2 instead of 2.5, right? So this is because of something called data types. Okay, in C there are in C programming there are different data types, and in Ruby there are different data types, right? Which is almost similar, but just like for the names and the way you use it, it's different, because Ruby is a dynamically typed or dynamic type programming language, which means that you don't have to explicitly you know you don't have to explicitly name your variables, right? What data types they are, right? So variables again is a container. You can think of it as a container which stores your value. Okay, let's say in the previous episode we did something called word equals to hello world, right? Now this is an operation. Okay, this is called an assignment operation because we will get back to it. So here we're using a variable. This word is a variable which is equal to hello world, right? Now what's happening is this word is a variable and storing this value. Okay, now that's what a variable does, right? Now in case of C programming or Java, which is any language which is statically typed, right? There you'll have to explicitly assign your variables a data type, so that in the future it cannot be changed, right? In case in Ruby I can change this variable value from string to number. Okay, now this is not possible in C or any static type or statically typed language. Okay, even in JavaScript, I think even JavaScript is a dynamic type language, right? So you just said var instead of string or whatever. So what's happening here, okay, is that these are two number data types which are of integer values. Okay, now there are different types of data types. Okay, I don't want to get into details right now, but there are some data types that you need to know. For example, this is of a value hello world of string data type, because this is storing a string value. Okay, a string is basically a collection of characters, okay, inside or within a quote. Can be a double quote or a single quote. Okay, now number on the other hand is numbers, right? It can be an integer. Okay, so integer numbers are numbers which do not have any decimal places, which do not have any decimal point, behind it. Or a float number is a number which has a decimal place. Okay, which have decimal numbers. So this is the difference between an integer number and a float number, right? Now coming back to this is the reason why we are getting 2 instead of 2.5, because here we're using one integer data type and then again another integer data type, so the result is an integer. Okay, now what when I use a float data type and an integer data type, now the result I'm getting is 2.5, right, which is a float value. So when you need to have return a float value, you make sure that that you're using a float number and an integer, or it can be both float, right? So make sure that to do that every time you need a float value, right? Because it's in C, when you need to do this, you have to I'm not sure what they call it, you have to explicitly, I forgot what they call, but you have to do something like this to to let the program know that, to let the system know that you want a an integer value in return. Okay, you don't have to do any kind of stuff in this in Ruby. Okay, Ruby is very simple and straightforward. Okay, so make sure that to do this every time you need an integer of float value. Okay, now again something interesting is that, let's see, so here we're using float and integer, or float and float, right? Let's see what happens when I use a string and an integer. Okay, I get an error. Let's see what happens when I use a string and a float. I get an error. Now let's see what happens when I use a string and another string. So this is called concatenation, or basically joining of two strings. Okay, so remember that. And since plus is not working, that doesn't mean all the other operators doesn't work on different data types. Okay, let's try with multiplication. Okay, let's see hello and multiplied by 3, and I've given a white space here, just clarity, and this is what I'm getting, right? So hello multiplied by 3 times means the string is gonna get duplicated thrice. Okay, so these are some magic of Ruby which you'll enjoy a lot when you learn Ruby and you'll start to work with it, make your own Ruby applications or whatever. Okay, so coming back to our operators course, we've done our basic arithmetic. Okay, yeah, there's again 2 more arithmetic operators that I wanted to talk about. Those are modulo and exponential. Okay, so let's see what these do. Okay, these are also very straightforward and very basic, so you won't have to worry. So 4 modulo 2 I'm getting 0. Okay, let's say 5 modulo 2 I'm getting 1. 6 modulo 3 I'm getting 0 again. 7 modulo 3 I'm getting 1. Okay, let's see, 7 modulo 2 I'm getting 1. 7 modulo 4 I'm getting 3. So what's happening is, these numbers, they give you this modulo operator is basically returns the remainder of the division. Okay, so 4 divided by 2 I get 0, 5 divided by 1 I get 5 divided by 2 I get 1 remainder, right? 6 divided by 3 I get 0, 7 divided by 3 I get 1, 7 divided by 2 I get 1. Do I? Yeah, obviously. So 4 divided by 7 I get 3, right? So this is what modulo operator is, right? And the next operator, again I want you guys to to see my example and find out what this operator is. Okay, so I'm just gonna use it and I want you guys to tell me what this operator actually is doing. Okay, let me know in the comments below if you figured out what this modulo operator does. Okay, I'm gonna give you some couple of examples. Okay, let me know what this operator is doing. Okay, yeah, I think you guys probably must have figured out what this operator does, right? So yeah, these are all the arithmetic operators that you need to know about. Okay, and let's move on to the next operator, which are assignment operators. Remember in here I called that this thing is called an assignment operation, right? So that's what assignment operator does. Okay, so assignment operator assigns a value to a variable. Okay, so let's say this is a variable and this is the value, then this is the assignment operator. Okay, now there are different types of assignment operators, right? You can combine an addition operator with an assignment operator and you get 4. So what this is doing is, since we have already assigned 2 to this variable, now when we do word plus equals to 2, that means it's doing word equals to word plus 2, right? So word already is 2 plus 2 becomes 4, right? Similarly we can do minus equals 1. So since this word was 4, it has been subtracted subtracted by 1. Then again we can do this, we can do this. Okay, we can do okay, sorry, nope, can't do that, my bad. So these are the assignment operators that you need to know right now. Okay, and let's move on to, okay, there are other assignment operators also. I don't want to talk about those right now. One of those, that is this. Okay, let's talk about this later. I don't want to confuse you guys, and I don't want to make it very complicated right now. Okay, it's not very complicated, but I still want to keep it for in the later episodes. Okay, so the last operators I want to talk about are logical operators. Okay, again these are again very simple. Okay, let's say word equals to 2. Okay, not word, num a equals to 2, b equals to 3. Now logical operators are these. Okay, so logical operators compares the two operands, okay, and gives you a result in boolean. Okay, yeah, again so when I was talking about data types, there is again this data type. These are called boolean data types, right? So boolean data types have only one value. I have only two kind of values, true or false. Okay, it can be true, it can be false. So these are called boolean values, right? So boolean values are only true and false, so keep in mind that. Okay, so logical operator always returns a boolean value. It can be either true or it can be false, right? So there are different kinds of logical operators. One is the greater than operator, right? And then there's lesser than operator. then there is greater than equal to operator, then lesser than equal to operator. Okay, what else? Then there is equal to equality operator. So this equality operator, I think you guys have understood what these are, right? Equality operators just check if both the values are equal or not. Let's say a equals 4, b equals 5, c equals 4, right? If I do a equals c, I get 4, yeah. If I do a equals b, I get false, and then b equals c, I get false, right? So this is basically checking if these numbers are equal or not. And then there's again inequality operator. So that's a not equals to b, true, because a is 4 and b is 5, which are not equal. If I do a not equals to c, then it's false, because a and c are equal, right? So yeah, so these are all the operators that I wanted to talk about, right? Now I think we can start, in the next episode we can actually start making our first actual Ruby program, which will be a very basic Ruby program, and I hope you guys are very excited for that, because I am. So yeah, so this is it for this episode. Let's I hope you guys subscribe and and watch the other episodes, because it's going to be very exciting, and it's going to be it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe.